If you've been feeling an unusual level of spiritual pressure lately, like your old temptations are suddenly louder than ever, there's a reason. God's chosen are always tested through temptation before elevation. You may think it's a sign you're failing, but the hidden truth is, it's often proof that you've been selected for something greater. The enemy doesn't waste attacks on those going nowhere. He reserves the fiercest temptations for those who carry divine assignments, and that's exactly why your struggle has intensified. You're not weak, you're targeted. Look at Jesus in Matthew chapter 4. The moment he was baptized and declared as the beloved Son, the Spirit led him into the wilderness, not for comfort, but for confrontation with the enemy. The test didn't disqualify him, it confirmed him. And the same thing is happening to you. The first reason you're facing this test of temptation is because it's the final gate before spiritual promotion. God uses temptation not to shame you, but to refine what's real in you. Hidden desires rise to the surface in temptation, and while the devil uses them to accuse you, God uses them to reveal what he's healing in you. It's like gold tested by fire. 1 Peter 1 verse 7 says your faith is more precious than gold, but gold only shines after it's burned. Second, you're being trained to walk in authority. You can't cast out what still controls you. Samson was chosen, powerful, anointed, yet his secret weakness for Delilah became the very snare that took his strength. Why? Because he never passed the test of ruling his flesh. The shocking thing is, some of your strongest temptations are directly connected to the area God wants to use most in you. Sexual sin, pride, ego, addiction, these aren't random attacks, they're surgical strikes against your purpose. Third, temptation exposes where your dependence truly lies. God doesn't allow temptation to make you fall, but to show you who you call on when you're weak. 1 Corinthians 10 verse 13 says he always provides a way out, but the real question is, do you want the escape or the experience? That inner wrestle is revealing what throne your heart is bowing to. Fourth, there's a secret war for your legacy. What you think is just a private struggle is actually spiritual warfare with generational impact. The enemy is hoping you'll trade your birthright for a bowl of momentary pleasure like Esau in Genesis 25. And the danger is, if you don't recognize temptation as a divine checkpoint, you'll misinterpret it as defeat. But here's the truth, the ones God chooses are always the ones he tests. Abraham was tested with the very thing he prayed for. Joseph was tested with betrayal, isolation, and seduction before the palace ever called his name. These weren't punishments, they were proving grounds. Fifth and finally, your temptation is a signpost that destiny is near. Romans 8 verse 28 doesn't just say all things work together randomly. It means that even your temptation is under divine coordination. If the pressure feels unbearable, it's because the promise is unshakable. The enemy knows that once you pass this test, he loses access. That's why the attack feels custom-tailored. That's why you're secretly fighting battles no one sees. Because the favor on your life isn't normal, and the testing isn't either. But here's the warning. If you treat temptation casually, it will cost you deeply. David was a man after God's own heart, yet one moment of compromise with Bathsheba brought years of chaos. Not because God stopped loving him, but because leadership demands higher accountability. If you're feeling this right now, it's not coincidence, it's confirmation. You're in the refining fire because something holy is being formed in you. Don't bow, don't break, and don't buy the lie that you're alone. Heaven is watching how you respond to the pressure, because your response determines the release. Temptation is not your tomb, it's your testimony in the making. Stand firm. Your next season depends on it.